Hey guys, welcome to this VATSIM tutorial here on the AviationPro channel. In this video we're going to take a look at what VATSIM is, why you should join VATSIM, and how to sign up. Sounds interesting? Stay tuned. So guys, welcome to this first kind of official VATSIM tutorial in this VATSIM 2017 tutorial series. I hope you will enjoy them. So VATSIM, as you may know, stands for Virtual Air Traffic Simulation Network, and it was created many years ago. It's been going on for many years, and has evolved a lot in recent years as well, with new pilot clients, with new simulators. All those things go hand in hand basically. So on VATSIM you are able to connect your simulator to an online network, so you'll be able to see other pilots, you'll be able to see their aircraft and fly together. But that's not the only thing about VATSIM, because VATSIM also contains air traffic controllers, so people who have air traffic controlling as their hobby. And these air traffic controllers, they really guide the virtual air traffic around. So using real-world procedures, using real-world phraseology, they guide you through the virtual airspace. So as you can see, that kind of creates a very realistic environment. You fly your flight from A to B, and if there's ATC available, you will have ATC throughout your flight, guiding you all the way from your flight plan clearance until you arrive at the gate. So a lot of people always ask me, can other people see me? Yes, they can. It doesn't matter what flight simulator you use, as long as there is a pilot client for that flight simulator, you are able to connect to the VATSIM network and see other people on the network. So it doesn't matter whether pilot A uses X-Plane and pilot B uses Prepared, for example, they can both see each other. And the air traffic control people will also be able to see both aircraft on their radar scope. So it's good if you're joining VATSIM to kind of know about the structure, alright? So VATSIM is the overarching network where everyone is flying on, okay, or air traffic controlling on. And within this main network there are a lot of divisions. For example, we have the European division, the VAT-uit, and then we have, within that division, we have a lot of local divisions. So for example, each and every country has their own division, often called Virtual Area Control Center, or VAC. For example, you have the Dutch VAC, and you have VATSIM Germany, or you have VATSIM Scandinavia. Each and every division, is part of VATSIM, and what these divisions do is that they actually train air traffic controllers to be able to control at the airports within that country. And it's actually very useful to join these VACs or divisions, because you will find a lot of people with the same hobby as you, and you will be able to exchange information, get to know more about flying on VATSIM, and receive help if necessary, because often those VACs contain forums where you can talk with each other. You can also do that on the main VATSIM forums, but on your local division forums, it's often in your own language. It might be very helpful. So I hope this gives you a basic idea of the structure of VATSIM. You will probably see more of that coming up once you sign up for VATSIM, and we're going to take a look at that in a minute. So what are some of the reasons why I should join VATSIM? Well, as I've mentioned a couple of times right now, it's very realistic. You have the pilots on the one hand, and then you have the air traffic controllers on the other hand, alright? And this all in all creates a very realistic environment, because the air traffic controllers are trained to use real-world procedures, are trained to use real-world phraseology, and together with popular flight simulator add-ons like the Beam, the G737, making this flight from A to B, using that air traffic control. And as a pilot, if you know what you're doing and know your procedures and know your phraseology, this creates a very realistic setting. So if you want to have an idea what a VATSIM flight looks like, make sure you check out this VATSIM full flight to kind of get an idea what it's like to fly from A to B in this very realistic environment. So you might think now, okay, I make flights from A to B and that's it, right? Well, what's the added benefit? Okay, isn't it gonna get boring? Well, and isn't it very nerdy? Like sitting behind your PC all day long, making a flight, making multiple flights even, or even crossing the Atlantic, that happens a lot as well. What's all this about? Well, actually, I don't think it's very nerdy. It really depends on how deep you go into this, how often you do flight simming. It's a hobby. Aviation is a hobby of many for us. And if you're, young and you want to become a pilot, VATSIM is a great place to be, because you can learn a lot, and it's a very big learning environment. But even if you're older, there are people who cannot become a pilot due to various reasons. People who do not want to become a pilot, but they do want to experience aviation. For all these people, the VATSIM network is a great place to be in, because you can really experience what it's like to fly an airliner from A to B using very realistic procedures. And that's why VATSIM is such a great learning environment. You really get to experience aviation and you learn something new for every flight. So I myself kind of regard every flight as a little project. You kind of have a preparation phase where you kind of look, okay, what kind of flight am I going to make? How do I prepare it? What kind of charge do I need? What are the procedures at this and this airport? Then you have the execution phase where you really fly the flight from A to B. And then you have kind of a finalization phase where you look, okay, what went well? What went wrong? And based on that, you can learn from your own mistakes and apply new knowledge that you've gained during that flight on your new flight the next time. So as you can see, VATSIM is much more than just making a flight from A to B. It's a big learning environment where you learn something new every flight, and you learn things like management skills or maybe multitasking skills, because you learn how to fly your add-on airplane or your airliner, like the PMDG 737 for example. You learn how to operate that airplane while talking to air traffic control, while monitoring the situation, the traffic situation, things like that. You really learn to apply a lot of knowledge at the same time and do different tasks or multi-monitoring different tasks at the same time. So in my view, that's also a way to learn new management skills. You really learn yourself how to manage the airplane, how to manage your flights, and how to make sure that that little project, that flight from A to B is as successful as possible. And another thing you learn is English, or aviation English in particular. If English is not your native language, I think VATSIM is a great way, because you learn how to talk over the radios, you learn how to talk to other people, you learn how to understand different accents, especially if you're flying Europe. So it can be very useful. So apart from the learning and the flying aspects of VATSIM, which are great fun and very realistic, there are a lot of other little things about VATSIM which make it very much fun. Think about meeting new people. If you join a local division, you might learn about and meet new people that are also interested in the same hobby, and from local divisions organize meetups, like the Dutch VAC has an annual spring meetup where they come together as people, go for spotting and then do some kind of activity. So that's great fun, of course. And VATSIM is a big network. You have to understand that it's a global network. Pilots from all over the world can all join in on the same network and fly wherever they want. And therefore there are also global events. Like there was an event last year in the UK, in London, VATSIM event. So you can expect those kind of events both on a local scale and a big scale. And if you want, and if it's in your neighborhood, for example, you can join and meet a lot of new people, and of course you can learn a lot during such day. So this might sound kind of frightening, right? This the degree of realism, talking to other people over the radio, using real-world procedures, using real-world phraseology. And I have to admit, it's quite frightening, especially on your first flights. But these video series, these tutorials are here to help you out. I began at a young age as well. I really had sweaty hands the first times when I was flying, but it soon, became, a great reward to be able to fly on VATSIM, and at some point it just feels so great to fly on VATSIM, being able to talk to that other person over the virtual radio. It's just great fun. So if you're 13 years or older, you can join VATSIM, and I personally think that you do have to have some personality traits, in order to become a good pilot on the VATSIM network. You just need to have a degree of sensibility, that you just try to do your best to complete and execute your flight as properly as you can to the best of your ability. Like not without any experience join in an event where there's a lot of air traffic control and a lot of traffic, because you'll just be a distraction to that traffic and to the air traffic controllers, and it's not very respectful to the air traffic controllers and the other pilots either. And of course you need to have a certain degree of respect and responsibility, right? Respect towards the air traffic controllers. They get a lot of training to become an air traffic controller, so it's good to take the responsibility to get yourself acquainted with your add-on aircraft, to get, follow some training regarding phraseology, so that on your first flight, you just try to execute it to the best of your ability without, being a huge frustration to the air traffic controllers. So I hope this gives you a bit of an idea of what VATSIM looks like, give you a bit of an idea why you should join VATSIM, and what you kind of need to do before you join VATSIM. So let's take a look at the VATSIM website and take a look at how to sign up for VATSIM. So guys, I won't go over in too much detail here. The VATSIM website, as you can see, is www.vatsim.net, and here you can just find all the information about VATSIM. So you have the main page, you have some news, you can see how many pilots are currently online, how many controllers, things like that. An explanation of VATSIM, and also a list of all the events that are upcoming. So pretty interesting, right? Now, if you want to join VATSIM, simply click the Join Here button, and I would really want to stress so that you make sure that you at least give a review of these documents, so the user agreement, the code of conduct, and the privacy policy. This ensures that you know what you can expect, you know what VATSIM can expect from you, and what you can expect from VATSIM, and also it gives some clear view of how you kind of should behave on the VATSIM network, which is important. Okay, so just give it a good review, and again, this is where the sensibility and responsibility come in, right? So just give it a good review, it's very important. And of course, this statement, you must at least be at 13 years of age to join. So yeah, if you are 13 years or younger, just wait a little, practice offline as much as you can, so that when you're allowed to go on VATSIM, you can go online as soon as you can. Okay, now basically here you just follow the instructions, right? So you can go through the sign up page, you have to agree that you have read the code of conduct, things like that, and then you will fill in all your information right here. So your first and last name, make sure you use your real world name. If you use a false name, you might get in trouble later, and I mean, people like to get to know you as well, of course, also in your local division. Just make sure that you use your real name. Also, valid email address is going to be very important for activating your VATSIM account. And of course, confirm that and select your age. You can set a password for your VATSIM account. And then you just select which state or province, then which country you're in, what you are. So for most of you, that's probably an enthusiast. You're just an enthusiast who wants to experience VATSIM. And then you select your preferred region. And this is important when you start to consider joining VAX, or maybe becoming an air traffic controller, for example. And make sure you just select the area where you're living. So for me, that would be Europe. And then you click the Register Me button to sign up. And then you just follow other instructions that will follow by email. And to get a further look about the VATSIM website, you just have a nice menu here, a little bit about VATSIM, the different regions, how you should join VATSIM, things like that. This section is going to be very, very important, the pilot section, right? So make sure you give this a read through. It's very, very useful information in text. Of course, I cannot explain everything through videos like this, so make sure you give it a good read, okay? It has a lot of information, all the tools that you need as well, some of which we'll cover in my tutorials. Software where you can get training, things like that, how to file a flight plan, very useful information all in all. And this pilot resource center here is also very, very useful. It teaches you about some of the basics, general lessons like what are squawk codes, how do I use them, how do I interpret ATIS, there's a lot of documentation out there to help you, okay? So don't just rely on my videos or other videos on YouTube. Also make sure you read through the theory. Real pilots in the real world also have to do a lot of theory before they actually go flying, right? So yeah, it's very important. And you have a lot of information about IFR, VFR, things like that. Okay. And then the VATSIM website also covers information about air traffic control. So if you want to become an air traffic controller, you can do that as well. And you can just view all the information here. And there's a great forum and also a lot of membership stuff for solving any problems that you may have with your member account here on VATSIM. And of course the documents, things like that. You can see who runs VATSIM. So yeah. As you can see, a great website, a very good overview, and a bunch of information that is very useful, especially if you're a pilot. So make sure you give it a review. before you join and once you join. It's very, very important. So guys, I hope this video has helped you out. Make sure you leave a comment below if you have any questions, and make sure you subscribe to the channel for any future VATSIM videos that will be uploaded right here. So if this was kind of blowing you away, or it sounds very frightening, or maybe you're now scared to fly on VATSIM, don't be scared. I mean, I'm here to help you out with this tutorial series, and there are a lot of other people on the network that are very helpful and friendly that will give you tips and tricks or help you out when needed. And we'll take this step by step. So in the next video, we're going to take a look at the software and the tools that you will need to be able to fly on VATSIM properly, okay? So guys, thanks for watching this VATSIM tutorial video here on the AviationPro channel. In the meantime, make sure you check out my other videos, and also make sure you subscribe to the channel to be notified about any new VATSIM videos. And if you like to support the channel, because your contribution is very much appreciated, make sure you check out the description for ways to do so. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next one.